today we'll begin. We are doing two things today, right? Initially it's meant to be. I doing four. Sorry, three things today. Initially it's meant to be two, but my wife came back from work yesterday and asked me a question on how to do something, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I did not even factor that into the class. So I said I would take it today into this class, right? That's how to do transpose, right? But when you can see my screen, please let me know. We'll begin with what we have for today, and we just keep on from there. So can you see my screen, please? Let me know.
Yes.
Okay, perfecto. Now we'll begin, right? So today is meant to be just VSTACK and HStack, right? But I said that I will do a short recap of what we did yesterday, right? Which is how to do a data table. Can you still remember? Does anybody just walk me through how to do a data table? We did it yesterday. And anybody? Just to walk me through. You don't have to do it. Just literally walk me through.
So
Yes,
data
right.
change. Think we will select and go to
Sorry, I'm not hearing you clearly. Just go ahead.
select and go to. Sorry, I think someone else. I'm. Let me look for.
No problem. Okay, so let me just give you a simpler way to do it. Yesterday, I went through the long route, and there was a reason why I went through the long route, so we see it. But if you click on any table and you press Control T, right, that should work. Just press Control T. It will say, "Do you want to create a table?" and click on OK, and voila, you have a data table, right? So I went through the long process yesterday, so to show us how it's done. But to be honest, you can just press Control T, and it's also done, right? And to change it to range, you come here, convert to range, and yeah, do you understand?
This one is very easy.
Yeah, it's obviously very much easier than the process. The reason why I went to a long process is because um for pivots, power pivots that I'm going to have a session power pivots, maybe not in these 31 days, right? It's important to know that step because there are many things. I already use Control T when I'm trying to do a very quick table and blah blah blah, right? But typically when I'm creating a table, I will do some edit on power pivots, right? But I did not go through that step, right? I just went straight. Okay, now VStack and HStack, right? Who can guess what VStack means? Excel is very funny with names. VStack and HStack. VStack, HStack, V and H. Anybody?
The vertical stack and horizontal stack.
Perfect. Yeah, vertical stack. Thank you so much. Vertical stack, horizontal stack. It's just V and H, right? So basically, it means um stacking, a table, right, vertically or stacking it horizontally, right? And so if I put equals, so for example, let's say we have these tables, right? Assume there are multiple. There are more than this. I just made it a very simple table so we can see, right? Let's say we have table one, table two, table three, right? And they can be in different sheets. They can be in. It doesn't matter, right? And we want to stack them together. Basically, we want to add them together, right? Assume you have tables in different sheets. It will make sense in that regard, right? You wanna appreciate it here, but like when you're having to stack multiple things, and you don't want to copy and paste, right? So all I just do is just put equals to V stack, right? So vertical, this is vertical, right? This is vertical, right? Basically, I want to stack them on top of themselves, right? Vertically, right? Stacking it is like this, right? Vertical, horizontal, right? So it's telling me what's the first array. That means what is the array? That means what the array means table basically. What is the range of values basically that I want to stack? The first one is here, right? I'm not stacking the header because the header are the same. This is my first range of value, comma. It said range 2, right? This is my second range of values, comma. As long as many ranges that you have, right? Then I put my third range of value, right? And I close the brackets and I press enter. And you can see that it stacked everything for me together from top to bottom. Do you understand? It's very simple, right? But I'm going to make it a bit complex now. Not complex, but just want to show us how dynamic it can be, right? Do you understand? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Equal to VSTACK, the first table, the second table. That means first array, second array, third array, fourth array, as many arrays as you can have, right? But there's something wrong with this, right? I mean, it is nice, but if you remember yesterday, I thought you what you call dynamic, naming, right? Dynamic naming, and the word dynamic, I'll be using it a lot. This table is nice, but it's not dynamic. Let me tell you why it's not dynamic. For adventure, I add something. Let's say I want to add another person to this first table, and I want to add, let me see, I want to add Ogechi Tosin, for example, right? Ogechi Tosin is from London, right? And salary is, let's say, 75K, right? Now, I've added this Ogechi, right? Tosin, right? But you can see the table did not update, right? So that means that if you add any new information to your old table, right, using this, right, I have to go again and start again, right, and go back here and expand the first one again. Literally have to go and do it, right? But let me tell you the benefit of using a data table now. So now assuming this was a data table, right? Right? And how do I make a data table? Anybody? How do I make a data table?
Control T.
Control T, right? I press Control T. Right? And it's my data. Sorry? So this is my data table, right? Just play the format, right? So this is my data table now. Now, please watch carefully. I want you to watch this and watch this table as well, right? This table. If I come under the material table and I press Onyeka, right? Let's say Onyeka Ogu, right? What can you see? See, can you see this stack automatically updated, right? Because it's a data table. It's very intuitive. Do you understand? It's so what I reference here, I reference the table because this is not a table, right? So if I come here and I change it from Onyeka and I put maybe Esther Ama, right? It automatically change. If I come up here and I change it from Cork to Nigeria, right? It automatically changes, right? So that's the importance of using a data table instead of using a range table. A range table will not be dynamic. A data table is dynamic. Do you understand? Do you understand, everybody?
It's very clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's pretty clear. Okay, nice. So this similarly for just put out this. So similarly for stack, right? Stack. I don't know when exactly we're going to use that. I've never used that before, but like stack is pretty much the same thing. But instead of arranging it, stacking it underneath, you stack it beside, right? Vertically is like this, right? Horizontally is like this, right? So it's pretty much the same syntax, which is the first one, comma, the second one, comma, the third one, right? And you will see, right? What is that? It stacked it for me side. So the first one, the second one, instead of vertically, right? We did it horizontally. It's the same thing, but all it did was that it stacked it for me vertically instead of horizontally. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now let's go to transpose. Now, this is how our data is, right? But just imagine. So this was happened to me yesterday. So my wife brought a data from and said, "Oh, you can see I have this issue, right?" And so this was not planned. It was not, and this is not in your notes because it just literally just came yesterday, and I just thought it's wise to include it today. Now, she had a bunch of data, right? That had this kind of things, right? Name, blah 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 blah. But it was arranged like this, right? So the first name, let's say this is the country and the salaries, name, salary, pretty much what we have here, right? But instead of it being arranged like this, it was just arranged this manner, right? And we wanted, and it was a lot of data, right? And what we wanted to do is that we wanted to make this data look like this: name, country, salary. So all the names in one place, all the countries, and all the salaries, right? So basically, we wanted to transpose this data, right? So this is what we want to have at the end of the day, right? Name, just copy the headers alone, right? So this is what we want to have, right? Pick it up a bit, right? And this is what we have, right? How do we work around it, right? Now, there, there, there's a formula to work around it, or there's a function to work around it. But in fact, what I did yesterday was something different from what I'm teaching you today, right? And I said in Excel there are multiple ways to do it, right? And I'll show you the two ways. The two ways. The way I did it and the way I think you guys should do it. Let me start with the way I think you guys should approach it. In case you have something like this, right? I want to basically transpose it. Right? That is moving the rows to a particular column, right? There um there's there's a simple transpose mechanics, but that will not work for this, and I will not talk about that one here, right? Because what we want is that we want to transpose it in such a manner that after every three rows, we want these three rows to be horizontal. Afterwards, the next three rows to come under, right? So we want to be three horizontal and three horizontal, three horizontal. So that means 1, 2, 3 should be horizontal, right? This other one should not be horizontal. It should come under again. 1, 2, 3. So we want it to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what we want. Do you understand?
Yep.
Do you understand what the end goal?
Yep.
Yeah. So what we use is what we call wrap rows, right? So we want to wrap the rows, right? Wrap the rows, right? Now, forget about the syntax nomenclature, right? Vector basically means the array. That means what are you looking at, right? So what's the text that you are considering wrapping, right? Which is everything here. So I highlight everything here, right? This is the text I'm considering wrapping, right? That is messed up like this, right? This is my text, comma. Now, next is telling me wrap count, right? So that means we want to wrap rows. That means we want to create multiple rows, right? So it's basically saying that in this your vector, in this your long list, right? After how many counts should I wrap it? That means let's say after the first three this thing move to a new row, first three move to a new row, first three move to a new row. So what we'll do is that it will keep the first three in horizontal as a row. That means 1, 2, 3 will form a row. Then the next three will form a row, right? So what I want after every three text, give me a new row. 3 text, give me a new row. So my wrap count is 3, right? If I close this and I press enter, you can see that it did it exactly for me, right? So after every 3 row, it brought it to a new one. Do you understand? Right. So this will save you so much time of trying to do it manually or find other alternatives, right? So wrap rows is the fastest, easiest way to transpose your data. Do you understand? Now,
Yes, I understand.
there's another way to be. I said there are always multiple ways, right? And let me tell you the way I used yesterday, right? I will not advise you to use it, but I did it because I just like a long journey, right? So what I did was that. So this is what we want, right? So I'm showing you this because for me, Excel, yes, it's true. Yes, your Excel does not have all these functions. Now, this is the second thing now. Not everybody who Excel will have wrap rows, will have wrap columns, will have VSTACK, will have HStack. I said all this, everything I'm teaching you now is, if you Google it, you will not really see so much content on this online because they are new. They are literally new. So unless you have the updated Microsoft 365, right, you will not have it, right? Unless you have the updated Microsoft 365, you will not have it, right? So now the way I'm going to show you, right, is the way you can. This way you can use it. You can use this way, whether or not you have the new system, right? It's not a function, right? It's just a way around it. right? So the way I used yesterday, right, I did not use wrap rows or wrap columns or and because not everybody as Esther and that's what I mentioned, right? Two people do not have it, right? And I'm very sure most people also might not have these functions, right? Because they are new functions. What you can use instead is what I want to show you, right? So I do not have, I mean, wrap rows and to wrap anything, right? So this is what I did, right? Oh, sorry, I had it, but I still went a long way. Don't be like me. If you have it, use wrap rows. If you don't have wrap rows, this is a way you can go about it. Now, this is what I wanted, right? So I wanted this um corner to be first, yeah. I wanted Kerry to be second, and I wanted this to be third, right? That's what I want. That's what I wanted. I wanted B5, B6, B7, right? So do you understand? This is what we want, right? So that means underneath here should be B8, right? B9 and B10, right? Do you understand? Right?
Yeah.
So this should be B5. Now I'm removing the formula. I'm just typing it out. This should be B6 and this should be B7, right? So this B5, B6, B7, B8, B9, B10, right? So what I would do is that in front of the B5, right, I would just put any, see, I would just put any, I mean, I would just put my initials, right? Put anything that does not have B, basically, right? So my initials are OO, right? I'll just put OO there, right? I mean, you can put anything to be honest. It does not matter what you put, but just make sure that anything you are putting does not have B in it. Do you understand? Right? So I just put OO in front of everything, right? Just watch me, right? It can be number, I mean, sorry, it should not be number, it should be text, basically, right? I put my initial OO, right? Not 00, right? I mean, you can put TO, WK, anything, right? Okay, it can be one, it can be anything that is up to you, but don't allow it to be B, right? And I'll show you what I'm trying to achieve, right? So I change it to OO, right? So what I do, I mean, so basically, right? I want it, I mean, what I want is from B5 to B64, right? I want from B5 to B64. So do what I would do because Excel is very intuitive, right? I will just drag these things that I mean. So I basically highlighted everything here, and I'm just dragging it down once I get to 64, right? 64, which is somewhere here, right? So he has done this for me up to 64.
You not say replace.
Yeah, right. So he has done it up to 64, right? So the next thing I will now do now is, I mean, so I've done this, right? I will press Control H, right? Control plus H, right? Control H is find and replace, right? So I press Control H, right? So I say Excel, right? In this array, right? Find OO or maybe TO or KO or no, I mean anything you put WRDI, anything you put, right? And replace it with equals to, right? So change OO and replace it with equals to, right? If I do that, right, this is what it will give me, right? So it will now reference the actual thing, right? So this is a way around it. So to me, right, knowing how to use Excel, like what I did now, I did not do anything supernatural. It's nothing out of the box. It is, do you understand? It's nothing this thing, right? The main issue is thinking. I mean, it's simple things are used, right? But the main thing is that how can you think around that, right? So the more you get used, or the more you solve problems in Excel, right? The more you will say, like what I used now was naming convention, what I thought was in day one, and find and replace, right? Control H. That's all I did, right? Right. On the hand of referencing and find and replace. That's all I used, right? But they may give somebody and the person might not know how to do it. Like yesterday now, I mean, I don't think I've consciously done something like this yesterday, but after thinking, I say, my wife saying, you're an Excel person, no. I say, I cannot for my hand. And I started around, walk around, and I said, oh, this should work. Do you understand? And it worked, right? So it's more around thinking about how do I approach this? How do I approach it? That is to be honest, that's the main thing. The technicality of it, right? I mean, if you want to be true to yourself, everything I've taught you from day 1 to day 12, nothing is really technical like that. It's simple, right? But the issue is knowing which one to use or how to combine the simple things. That's the issue. right? How do I combine this simple lean, left, max, mean? Like everything I've said is nothing complicated, right? I think the only thing I think will be complicated is index and match. Or like it's not even complicated once you know what it is. Do you understand? Nothing is complicated, right? But the issue is it's not complicated, but how do I merge all this together to make sense? That is where um your knowledge of Excel will shine, right? So it's not about knowing what to do, right? Or it's not about knowing the different functions. You can know everything, right? I mean, I can never teach you everything because I don't know everything, right? But even with the limited ones, like if even if you don't know wrap rules or wrap column, if you knew find and replace, you can do the same thing, right? Somebody may say, oh, there's a simpler way. Glory be to God for the person, right? Which we now know now, it's that we can use wrap rules for it, right? But whether you know wrap rules or not, you can still find your answer, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, that you don't need to know everything, you don't need to know all the formulas. The one you know, with what you have, you will be able to find an answer to any solution, right? And our advice is that before you give somebody else to solve it for you, try and solve it yourself. Stretch your brain, right? Because that's how you will be able to now get familiar with adding simple things together and making it complex. Do you have any other question? Do you have any question on VSTACK, HStack, or transpose? Anybody?
No question. I think it's clear.
Okay, perfect. So I think today's stuff is clear. Um, Tomorrow we are looking at if, right? Writing your first if statement, right? We'll look at if, and we'll try and do if, next step if, different kind of ifs around the ifs, right? So please make sure you are there tomorrow. I mean, I thought I need a lot of reminder emails again, right? I think my capacity for reminder emails are very slim. So I will save that for maybe the 15 and the, I don't know, maybe towards the ending, right? That's why I will save some of them for, right? So thank you guys so much for joining. In the absence of any question, as I said, as I mentioned before, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5 are already uploaded. I will upload the 6 and the 10 and 11 as well. So we can always go back and refresh our minds on everything that we have learned. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I see you tomorrow by 6. Sorry, I see you tomorrow by um 6 o'clock. Don't forget that weekends class are pre-recorded, right? Um, I think this Friday class will be live. I think, right, it will be live. But Saturday and Sunday definitely will be pre-recorded, right? I mean, tomorrow I'll confirm to you if Friday will be pre-recorded or will be live, right? But yeah, Saturday and Sundays definitely will be recorded. So thank you guys so much. See you guys tomorrow and have a wonderful Wednesday. Cheers. Bye.